much bigger acts with more instruments and stuff. I'd like to thank you so much for listening. My name is Kev Corbett. Like I said, I'm delighted to be here. You're a very kind bunch. While I'm still up here, I should tell you about my last experience in PEI, which was my first experience on my own steam. I came over, I was on the way over to play in Victoria at the theater there. And I was going to winter for the night with my mom, who lives in Amherst.
Yeah, I'm all looking dykey, it's great.
And then as I got there, I was just cracking a beer. And my friend Keith Mullins calls up. He's like, "Are you playing on the island tonight?" I'm like, "No, man, I'm playing tomorrow night." He's like, "Ah!" And I was like, "What's going on?" He goes, "Well, I'm playing in Rustico with Lenny Gallant tonight, and there's going to be a party in his mom's kitchen afterwards. Come over here and drink with me." I got an extra bed in the hotel room. I'm like, "Dude, I'm going to see you in 2 hours." As you might expect, it was the best chowder I've ever had. Almost better than that was the drive from Rustico to Victoria the next day. Large day, as you might imagine. This song is the title track to the record that I just put out this year. It's called Son of a Rudderless Boat. Yes, I've got copies and all that stuff. If you want to hear one, come talk to me. Anyway, this song comes out of a sea kayaking trip I did a couple of years ago, near Terrence Bay, near Peggy's Cove, Prospect Bay outside of Halifax. And so, as you can imagine, I'm pulling out into the bay, right? Now, if you've been in a sea kayak, most sea kayaks have a rudder that you control by means of pedals that are on the inside of the boat, and that's how you steer the thing. And this one day in particular, I was pulling out in a boat that didn't have a rudder. And the way that you steer those is by doing a big long sweep stroke like this. And that's how you turn. So as I'm pulling out into the bay, I've got this phrase going through my head from my mother-in-law. And I'm kind of laughing, right? See, my mother-in-law is of Italian extraction. Therefore, she's highly Catholic, and therefore she doesn't like to swear a lot. She'll say stuff like, "son of a biscuit basket." She'll say, "son of a motherless goat." And so as I'm pulling out into the bay in a kayak that doesn't have a rudder on it, I'm thinking, "son of a rudderless boat." Ha 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 ha. And so it came back to bite me in the arse later on. I went through some big choppy waves and near some big dramatic looking rocks. Oh my God, it looks great. This idiot kayaker who doesn't really know how to paddle goes through and ends up underneath the water doggy paddling sideways, and that was me. Thinking about a breath of air. And while I was underwater, I came up with the idea for this song.
The biggest fucker? That's us. So come up here after what? Jam. Big jam.
And to make a long story just a little bit shorter, what happened was I came up with this idea for a song where I was going to dissect the idea of how families pass down personalities over multiple generations. The idea that you really are your dad's boy. And so here I was. And I thought, well, okay, number one, I got to get the hell out of here. But besides that, verse number one is going to be from my granddad, who was this lovely Acadian dude from the Eastern Shore of New Brunswick. He worked in manual labor most of his life, because if you're a French dude in the 40s, that's what there was for you, was manual labor. And so he worked in dories and he worked in logging camps and stuff like that. Verse number two would be from my dad, who was a priest for a little while, at least until I come along. When he retired, he was a prison warden. He was helping guys get sober, because most of them are in prison because of stupid shit they did while they were hammered. And then verse number three would be my own. I'm a folk singer, and so I would try to figure out what it was that we all have in common. Three different guys in three different periods of the Earth's evolution doing three different things with our lives, yet still very much the same guy amongst our fellow man. That's what this song is about. My name is Kevin Corbett. Thank you so much. This is Son of a Rudderless Boat. Grandpa sailed a dory, fished out on the sea, and though we knew what he was for, He didn't know just what to be. He lost his arm at logging camp, and up till he died, he still chopped his own wood. Told me a story about going out with a new guy on the boat. And when they got out on the water, the new guy just sat there and jokes her back and shore. Later on, Gramps says, boy, you can haul that fish yourself. We're all scared out on the water. Next time you can swim, but you can help. He said you gotta work hard, you gotta pray hard, just try to keep it strong. And if you wanna work with me, man, you better pull that weight along. It's by the Father, by the Son, and by the Holy Ghost, by the angels and the saints and all the heavenly host, by the fields of grass that bore me and the sea that awaits. I know I got no control, but I'll fear no earthly fate, 'cause from the ocean we to come, and to her we shall return. She puts the fire out in us when our souls cease to burn, and so to find true love intended is your only hope. Just give up the ghost, man. You're a son of a rudderless boat. My father tried his hand out as a fisher of men. There was at least one job for a papers boy from a steel plant back then, but he jumped that ship, I guess, and left his robes upon the ground, and I for one am glad he did. He must have seen this gig coming around. He's a student of his times, that guy. A renaissance guy to be sure, and he'll let me hoist myself. But my ears ring with his words, son. I just pray that you grow up to be a very gentle man, with respect for folks around you, and respect for the land. Life don't owe you shit, son. You've already got today, and I believe it comes around. If you treat the world that way, and everything you need to know you learn from watching others fall, you'll rejoice in their successes. If you can heed any call, and you'll choose the high road or the low road, when life has you by the throat's a choice we all get to make. We're all sons and daughters of a rudderless boat. I'm learning how to love the winter. I'm learning how to love the winter. I'm learning how to love the winter, 'cause spring ain't too far away. Spring ain't too far away. So my paddle hits the water, and I am off amongst the trees, and I'm just lucky to be here, man. Living like this, in times like these, I feel the weight of the whole world, in all the choices that I make under the gazes of all our mothers, and environmental stakes, and by my unborn children, and by the lepers in the streets, and by the world already drowning in pools around our feet. May we come to Patch's leaky boat, and we're all here sinking in, and stop making up some right to throw the weaker ones in. By the earth and air and fire and water lapping at our shores, all our spirits are the same, and our hands are on the oars. And may we come to fix this tired old world. Before we all drown in smoke, I'll do my part. Row hard in this rudderless boat. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great night.